You know she's getting filled by some black stud. You know there's some black fucking bull that's just filling her with cock meat, giving her the real fuck she deserves. Some big black bull just filling her with cock meat. And that's his crazy talk.
How we all doing, folks? Pardon me. Still got a bit of a cough there, which, yeah, bit of a problem there. Anyways, so, bunch of stuff to talk about tonight. I hope we're all enjoying, a very merry 9/11. Here on the East Coast for past 14 minutes, it's been 9/11. So, happy 9/11 to you all. And I'm going to commemorate 9/11 this year, same way I do every year, with a nice, somber, respectful game of Jenga. So, looking forward to that. Couple of things to talk about tonight. First thing, I'm going to bring up a tweet that I noticed. I'm not on the Twitter, but I can still look at stuff on Twitter through my suspended account. And every once in a while I pull a mundane Matt name search myself, see if anyone's talking about me. Usually no one is, because no one gives a fuck about me. But I did see something interesting by Christian. Usually, he pops up in the chat from time to time, pops up in the comments from time to time. I think I've had him on the show. Good caller and all. But let me bring up the tweet here. He was responding to John Steele's tweet, where he was talking about, how... Well, I said on a stream that if you're still supporting the Roman Catholic Church, you're complicit in child rape. I don't know how I could see it any other way. You're giving money to an organization that systematically, regularly covers up for child rape over and over and over and over again, to the point where they actually lobby governments to make it easier for them to do that. So, Christian had this to say: Bechtloff seems to just be an old-school anti-Catholic bigot who's just using this abhorrent abuse scandal as an excuse to mock Catholics and get them to try and leave the faith, something he often celebrates, rather than lending a hand for us to fix this. Lending a hand for us to fix. You can't fix it. You can't. You never will. This has probably been going on well longer than anyone knows. The nature of your theology regarding power structures and authority and hierarchy means that your leadership has no transparency and no accountability, never has, never will. It's the nature of the beast. If it wasn't this, it would be some other horrific form of abuse. Of abuse of power. Also, Christian isn't even really Catholic. He'll fight me on this, but what is it, the SPX or some shit like that they call it? It's like a group of Catholics that broke off from the Catholic Church. They don't have any official ties to the Vatican. They just keep the same trappings and traditions, I suppose. I mean, basically Orthodox almost. But they call themselves Catholic. You can call yourself whatever the fuck you want. You're not under the authority of the Roman Catholic Church. You rejected it, so, hey, welcome to this side of the fence. Glad to have you, I guess. So when I say some people are, who support the Roman Catholic Church, particularly financially, are complicit in these crimes, that I guess wouldn't apply to Christian, if what he tells me of his church is true. And I think I've even mentioned that in the comment thread. And then down below, his constant attacks have gotten old. I've made my views. I think that's made mad, but whatever. It's Twitter. People have typos. Made my views in Catholicism clear. Kinda a spurg on this. I'm spurging on the whole don't rape children thing. I'm really a stickler on that. I'm kind of autistic on don't put your meat in 10-year-old buns. You're not McDonald's. And has pushed away many people and has no issue continuing to do so. Honestly, kind of reminds me what Baked Alaska did. He had a loyal fan base and just proceeded to start pushing them away. Did Baked Alaska's fan base, were Were they all financially supporting an organization that routinely rapes children? And this one was troubling. This is kind of why I decided to talk about this. His faith in liberalism is stronger than his actual Christian faith. Even though on theology him and I are similar, I have my issues with him on many of his positions, but you know this already. My faith in liberalism. Liberalism. What the fuck? When I saw this, I thought, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Faith in liberalism. Yeah, I'm got my Antifa fucking membership card right here. It came with a bike lock. Fuck Trump, am I right? My faith in liberalism. So then I clicked on the guy's profile. And I thought, I'm just a humble follower of Christ, a follower of King James or blah, 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 based mulatto. I thought Southern imagery and mulatto. I remember this guy. I think I've had him on my channel before. I know I've been on like with Davis and him. This guy's like hardcore fascist, but also some sort of like hyper, I don't know, nationalist is a term, but all about like Southern culture and shit. Like basically I'm liberal because I'm capitalist and shit like that with this guy. But yeah, I just thought this stuff was funny. You know, I'm a big stickler for let's not rape children. Like, I'm not going to apologize for that. If that makes me a liberal, well, fuck Trump, am I right? I guess I'm a liberal. So, yeah. I don't want to harp on that too much because there's not much more to say. But I'll repeat it. If you're giving money to a Catholic church that has ties to the Vatican, you are in some small way complicit in child rape. No other way to put it at this point. You know exactly what some of that money's going to. You give it anyways. There you go. And don't tell me the Catholic Church does all these other nice things. I mean, like, if somebody was giving money to Planned Parenthood and they're like, well, I don't support abortion, but Planned Parenthood does, like, you know, breast exams and stuff, you know, for breast cancer. Would you buy that? Would you be like, oh, okay, that's fine? Well, yeah, okay, they do screenings for breast cancer. There's this whole other thing they do. So yeah, I'm big into liberalism. How about that? Fuck Trump, am I right? All right. So moving on, because I don't want to harp on that too much, because it's just, what the hell else am I gonna say? I don't know what else to say to you people. Like, I don't know how else to make this clear. Like, I can't make it clear to you because you don't want to see it. So I don't know what else to fucking say to you. You know, you don't want to admit it. So there's nothing else I can say. I want to talk about Comicsgate a little bit tonight. So the other, what was it, like a week ago? Vox Day ends up feuding with the main guys behind Comicsgate. The main guys behind Comicsgate, as I understand it, you have Diversity in Comics, who is working on a comic book called Jawbreakers. You have Ethan Van Sciver, whatever. EVS, let's just call him EVS. He was the artist on Green Lantern for a long time. A good artist, and he's working on a book called Cyberfrog. You know, these are supposed to be comic books free of soy and pause. You know, the diversity is Comicsgate. You know, it's get the leftist bullshit out of comics. Well, Vox Day is also, I shouldn't say working, he's making his own comics under Archaven Comics. Alt Hero, which I've talked about on here before, is at like issue 3. Avalon, I think, is at 1 or 2 issues out, something like that. At least 1. I have the 1. Somebody got it off my wish list. And that's important to understand. The other 2 guys are working on some comics. Vox Day has made some comics. Let's keep that distinction in mind here for a second. Hold that thought in your head for a bit. So I was thinking about this, and so Vox Day ends up fighting with EVS and Diversity in Comics over, I guess, the Comicsgate title or something. which isn't even particularly good, so I don't know why they're fighting over it, but whatever. Anyways, I'm seeing a lot of people shit on Vox in my circles. Like, he's just some Johnny come lately, and he hasn't contributed anything to this. He's just trying to steal the title. He hasn't contributed anything to this. Really, because it seems like he's put out some actual comic books on good old-fashioned paper with actual superhero stories free of soy and pause. So, meanwhile, EVS and DNC there, what have they made? All right, they've made a lot of live streams, near as I can tell. They bitched on Twitter a lot. You know, they've talked and they've raked in a lot of crowdfunding money, but they haven't actually produced their product yet, have they? Am I wrong? Can I go out and get Cyberfrog #1 somewhere now? Can I go get Jawbreakers #1 somewhere? I don't fucking think so, last I checked. Meanwhile, Vox has actually put out comics. Comics that are selling decently well. For there being a complete blackout from, you know, comic press and all. Abounding into comics, the only one that'll touch it. Now, don't get me wrong. Again, I didn't follow a lot of the feud because I haven't really followed Comicsgate, if I'm being honest with you. Much as I loved comics, much as I should be following Comicsgate, I followed it a little bit. Like, I'm in some Comicsgate, like a Facebook group or something for it, but I don't know. I've seen this movie before, guys. All right. And then what I think happened with this Vox situation is I think, Vox Day was probably being an asshole. Because Vox Day is frequently an asshole. All right. I've followed the guy since like 2003, since his days on WorldNet Daily. The guy climbs up his own ass a lot. The guy is arrogant as all hell. And he's kind of an asshole at times. Now, that said, he also produces some good stuff. For example, his novel Summa Helvetica, fantastic. SJW's Always Lie, great book. Conservative, great book. And Alt Hero #1, which is, I have Avalon #1, but Chuck Dixon wrote that. But again, it's through his company. Alt Hero #1 that Vox Day wrote, damn good. And I didn't think it would be. Because he's running his mouth, and I thought he was going to have that eternal Gen Xer thing where he thought he knew better than everyone else. You know, I really did think it was going to be shit. I really had but damn, I really liked it. I'm looking forward to reading 2 and 3. I know some Cynic Chief got it for me off my wish list. I'm waiting for it to come in the mail. I haven't had a chance to read Avalon #1. I thumbed through it a bit. Thought the art was ass. I will read it. Sorry, I'm behind on that. Anyways. But I did enjoy Alt Hero #1 a great deal. Did I enjoy Cyberfrog #1 or Jawbreakers #1? Well, no, because they don't fucking exist yet, do they? Vox is actually out there putting shit out there. Now, again, I get he's an asshole. I get it. So that was probably part of the feud. The other part of the feud was probably, that typical thing where you want to throw your further right-wing allies under the bus in some vain attempt to try and gain left-wing approval, which is something that killed Gamergate. And I bet you that had something to do with this. You know, and I hear all these people saying Vox hasn't contributed anything to it. Again, Vox is the only one that's actually put out a fucking product in this mess so far, isn't he? The other guy's got all this money to crowdfund these comic books. Haven't put them out yet. And why the fuck did you need to crowdfund comic books in the first place, I might add? I don't think Vox Day crowdfunded Alt Hero. I don't remember that. Maybe he did. I don't know. Again, I haven't been following this very closely. But I don't seem to remember him doing that. I think he just made the fucking company. Somebody could correct me if I'm wrong on that. What the fuck do you need to crowdfund a comic book for? You write the damn thing, then you draw the damn thing. Now, okay, maybe I could kind of see it with Jawbreakers because, diversity in comics isn't an artist, so he had to hire an artist. But Ethan Van Sciver is a fucking artist. He is an artist. So the fuck did you need to crowdfund this for? I get maybe it's a bit of a thing where you can kind of show there's interest and stuff like that. But I mean, like, Eastman and Lard made fucking TMNT #1 in their basement. For practically nothing. People in the chat are telling me Vox did crowdfund Alt Hero. Okay, well, I guess I'm wrong on that. Point is, though, he delivered, didn't he? Again, where is Cyberfrog? Where is Jawbreakers? But you know what? Since I was condemning the other two, I condemn Vox today too. Condemn is a strong word, but wag my finger a bit. The fuck you need to crowdfund a comic book for? Just make the damn thing. I mean, maybe a little bit of seed money you need, but these guys getting stupid amounts of money. See, when these guys get so much money and they haven't even produced a product, you end up with you can end up with a Mighty #9 situation. Remember when that guy was, Ifune, whatever the guy's name is? I'm always bad with Japanese names. Remember when he was given millions and millions of dollars to make a motherfucking 2D platformer and couldn't pull it off? So yeah, you know what? You can say what you will about Vox Day, but he's produced something. Now, don't get me wrong. I really, really hope that Cyberfrog and Jawbreakers turn out well, and I hope they do well. If for no other reason than to put the fear of God into the people running Marvel and DC and IDW and all the rest. But don't try and tell me Vox did nothing for this. So far, he's the only one of the bunch that has done something. And again, I feel like it's probably just that case of throwing the right-wing guy under the bus. We saw that with Gamergate, and we're just gonna see it again, I guess. Like I said, we'll see. I don't know. Somebody in the chat says apparently Joe Quesada spurred out to EVS on Twitter about Comicsgate. Yeah, I heard that. I heard Joe Quesada's losing his shit, and I heard an interesting theory as to why. Why Joe Quesada's in panic mode. So imagine this for a second. You got Marvel comics are selling like shit. Okay, despite the fact that there's greater interest in Marvel IPs than ever before, Marvel can't sell comics to save their fucking soul right now. Now, the movies are doing really well. But there's a lot of rumblings that Captain Marvel is going to be a fucking disaster. And marketing it with all this woke feminism horse shit ain't doing it no favors. So if Captain Marvel, and by the way, the more female-centric Ant-Man and the Wasp underperformed. It did well. I mean, it made money. It was certainly in the black, but, it didn't make Marvel Cinematic Universe money. Hell, it didn't even make Ant-Man 1 money. So, if I were Quesada, I'd be a little nervous. Because, see, Quesada's excuse, he can constantly tell his higher-ups, oh, well, print is dead and nobody wants actual comics anymore. Oh, woe is me. I'm pushing water uphill here. So, if something like Alt Hero, something like Cyberfrog, or something like Jawbreakers were to come around and promise to be comic books free of soy and pause, if Ethan Van Sciver's Cyberfrog, for example, can sell like a candy-coated AIDS cure in San Francisco, then Quesada's not going to have that excuse to his higher-ups. And make no mistake, as paused as Disney is, there are quite a few people at Disney that are looking at Marvel and saying, why the fuck isn't this making us money? You know, the comics division. There are people that are looking at it. You've seen rumblings. I truly believe there are higher-ups at Disney that desperately want to get rid of the diversity at Marvel while finding some excuse to make it look like that's not what they're doing. And, well, it's going to be interesting. And I think Quesada realizes, you know, he's like one of the handful of liberals back in 2016 that realized they were going to lose. Like, he sees it on the horizon, and I think he's scared. But that would be my estimation. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't really watch the whole thing very closely. I just haven't wanted to. I don't know how else to put it. Just been kind of like, whatever. There's a handful of good comics out there to read, and I just read them, enjoy them, and whatever. I read almost no Marvel comics anymore. I read, like, Scarlet Spider, Spider-Man Renew Your Vows, Venom, and I get the Spider-Verse 2, what is it called, Spider-Geddon stuff. Not really many DC comics I'm reading either. When I think about it, I'm reading Justice League. I like Justice League. I might check out Grant Morrison's Green Lantern when it comes out. His run on it. Like I said, though, not a lot that I'm reading. A lot of what I'm reading isn't at Marvel or DC. Like the Ninja Turtles, Urban Legends, which is color reprints of the Image Ninja Turtle series from the mid-90s that no one read because it was right after the comic bust, plus Ninja Turtles weren't very popular in 1997. But it's really good. It's what else am I reading? Ghostbusters at IDW is fantastic. Dark Ark, really great comic. Although I'm a few issues behind on that, actually. I got to get myself caught up. Over at Dynamite, there's a Charlie's Angels comic that's actually really good. I picked up number 1 on a whim. It's based on like 70s Charlie's Angel, not that shitty Cameron Diaz crap. But it's just good old fashioned 70s cheese. It's kind of enjoyable. It's kind of refreshing even. Well written stuff. Shit, man. Hell else am I even reading? I don't know. I'd have to think, but just not a lot, you know? You know, I hope the comic book industry turns itself around. I hope the fucking country as a whole turns itself around. We'll see. But there's not a lot I can do about it, ultimately. There's a bit of, you know, you could argue that maybe I shouldn't be supporting Marvel at all and buy any Marvel book. And I see your point there. But then part of me is like, I want to vote with my wallet and I want to buy the handful of books that aren't full of soy and paz. You know? I don't know. You know, I'd really like to do my part to see to it that a book like Spider-Man Renew Your Vows outsells Durka Miss Marvel at every turn, you know? But, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, who knows? Let's see, what else did I talk about? What? Fuck, I don't know. See, I'm going through, like, articles that, like, people have sent me or that caught my attention, and just so many of them are just, like, yet another heinous fucking thing the Catholic Church has done. So, and it's not even that I don't want to talk about it, it's like, what else am I supposed to say? Like, fucking shame on you if you're still involved with this fucking dumpster fire of an organization. I don't know what else to say. You help us turn it around. There is no turning it around. I don't think so. Somebody says, did you see the She-Ra trailer? Yeah. And just like we knew, she looks like a fucking 10-year-old boy in it. You know, again, it's been a while since... When I was a little kid, and I mean really little, like 3, 4, 5, I was into He-Man a lot. And I've read some He-Man comics and all as a, teenager, adult and all. Like, I've always had a soft spot for it, but I've never been hugely into it. So I'm not an expert on He-Man and, by extension, She-Ra mythos, for lack of a better term. But I seem to remember that, like, both Prince Adam and whatever the fuck She-Ra's real name was, they're supposed to be transformed into, like, an idealized version of themselves through the magic of the swords they wield. So why is She-Ra's idealistic version of herself looking like a dude? Like, okay, you could say, like, well, she's a young teenager when she finds this, maybe she's 12 when she finds a sword. She should still be transformed into a full-grown woman, though. Somebody in the chat says, thoughts on how the new Spider-Man game looks now that it's out? Makes me wish I had a PS4. Looks really good. Unfortunately, it's the only thing that makes me wish I had a PS4, so. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what else to say, They turned Thundercats into Steven Universe, and now they turned She-Ra into a boy. What else are they going to ruin next? Stay tuned and find out. Shit. I don't know if I have anything else to talk about tonight. I did want to talk about this handful of things, but it didn't take nearly as long as I thought it would. So, I don't know. I might wrap the stream up. So in the chat says, I'm having trouble thinking of any other game you'd actually like on a PS4. Exactly. All right. Well, I'm probably gonna wrap this up, folks, and because I'm out of shit to talk about right now, so no sense dragging it on. If you enjoy the content I put out, feel free to support it down below. Patreon, PayPal, Amazon wishlist, all that good stuff. Aaron Clary says, are you going to get to Roosh's books being banned by Amazon? Yeah, I heard that. I mean, I don't know what to say about it. It's shitty, but the only thing I can say about it is that the tech companies have to be brought to heel. The government has to bring them to heel. And the only ones really out there pushing for it are Trump's hinted around to it a little bit. Ted Cruz has pushed for it a lot. There was the Jack Dorsey hearing in front of Congress, and all the Republicans in Congress, they just bunted on it. They didn't do anything about it. There's nothing else I could say about it. Whoever your congressman is, write him a letter and say, hey, you going to do some shit about this? Because, Roosh is just one example. Look at InfoWars getting run the fuck off the rails. Now, InfoWars has a strong infrastructure of their own, and they can weather quite a storm. But there's quite a storm hitting them in there. They're not somebody like Roosh. Alex Jones has been doing this. Alex Jones had a presence on the internet since before any of us, okay? Alex Jones had a presence on the internet since the internet's been a thing. He's been out there since the 90s. So, I don't know what else to tell you. If you have a Republican senator or congressman, write them a fucking letter and get up their ass a little bit about it. Beyond that, I don't know what else to do. I'm open for ideas, but, eventually they'll show me. I kind of have been half fucking showed, although it actually wasn't I'm pretty sure it's fucking TRS fans that keep flagging me, keep getting me in trouble on my main channel. So I'm not even in the leftist site. I just got, all the alternative lifestyle right up my ass. So we'll see. I mean, nothing else to say about it. Like I said, folks, if you enjoy the content, consider supporting the show. It's good to support the alternative media you enjoy, while you still can. All right, folks, that's all we got for tonight. Thanks for listening. Bechtloff out.